So for me to get into the fitness industry was a long, old road. I started out being a fat kid and I wanted to make a change to my body because I was sick of being in XL t-shirts. I put myself through multiple diets and ended up yo-yoing quite hard. Lost 20 kilos, gained 20 kilos back. I had a knee injury which meant that I wanted to pursue being a physiotherapist because, as you kind of want to help yourself, you want to help others too. So I ended up going to university and getting a sports rehabilitation degree. That allowed me to go and do things with personal training. It allowed me to do rehab, and I kind of got the bug from there. I needed a job after university and ended up working at like clinics and rugby teams, but to pay the bills I ended up getting a job as a personal trainer in London. And then after that it kind of sparked the long career that I've had from there. It allowed me to go to a personal training gym. It allowed me to move online, and just ultimately over the last 10 years just be able to progress and get better with working with clients.
What was the hardest time growing up?
The hardest time growing up was definitely dealing with my knee issue, as well as trying to cope with school and all these other parts that kind of wrapped up into a very unhappy place. Probably was depressed when I had my knee when I was 12 or 13, going through multiple surgeries, and just trying to figure out, whilst I lived a really active lifestyle and really wanted to play sports all of the time. I played everything under the sun every single day. I was at a sport camp. But it really held me back because I couldn't do anything else. So I became really resentful as I grew up because everyone else was playing football outside and I was inside eating biscuits and playing PlayStation.
So what was the turning point for you?
The turning point was that I think I just wanted to feel better, but also just not have to buy XL t-shirts that were down to my knees because I was buying t-shirts and I looked like a gangster rapper. I looked like 50 Cent with white plain t-shirts down to my knees. And I just didn't want that anymore because I was 5'0", still I'm 5'0", and I wanted to make a change.
What was it like for your confidence at that time?
To be honest, it didn't really affect my confidence until later. At that moment in time, it just got the weight off and probably stopped the bullying, stopped anything else that was happening, and just made me stay away from biscuits. So the confidence didn't really come until my 20s, when I started getting in better shape and exercising more, feeling better, and just being more social as well.
What happened when you were younger that you decided to change and therefore have also carried that through into your business now, the core values?
So for me, it was always a spiral. It was always a lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. And it was always quite resistant at home to dieting. My family are big eaters. And it became really difficult to live a certain way, dieting way, being at home, because everyone liked the biscuits and stuff like that. And I just found myself in that cycle of going back to what they were eating and how they were eating, and then going back to what I was doing and isolating myself and doing that. And then it was just flip-flopping. And as I went to this side, I'd gain some weight. As I went to this side, I lost some weight. So, through my 20s, I kind of got a handle on that and understanding why that happened, how the environment changes, what I needed to do to blend the two. And then Autonomy really now stands for getting in shape and staying in shape for life. We understand that environment, culture, mindset, habits, your daily routine and daily structures really affect both sides of the coin. And I don't want anyone else to go through that process, which I know a lot of people do, where they're basically choosing between home life, cultural life, social life, and then also their physique goals, when actually they can live in tandem. It just took me 10 years to find out.
So you worked for a lot of other coaching companies or coaching brands, but after years of doing that, you decided to start Autonomy. So what's so different about Autonomy compared to these other coaching brands that you've worked for?
So the other coaching brands are fantastic at what they do. Some of them were transformational gyms in which they get people in shape in a 12-week period, or they get people amazing shape over a short space of time, and they do a specific thing really, really good. But when I used to see the same clients after 12 weeks and then in a year's time at the prep around the corner, they'd be back to where they were before because they couldn't afford the coaching for that long. They couldn't afford what came after the diet. They couldn't afford the longer term. And then with the other coaching services I worked with, is that their obsession was around how long can you keep a client? How long is it until this person renews over into year 2, into year 3 and year 4? And for me, it's always been a journey for myself and for me being able to do it by myself. and the immense gratification I got by standing on my own 2 feet, being able to stay in shape, being able to look after my nutrition, have a really good time, it just felt really, really wrong. It felt wrong to look at them as cash cows, as money as cash, as to pay your mortgage, pay your phone bill. And instead of them looking like that, we look at them as they're here to learn a skill. They're here for a period of time, and they're here to, get that and then move it to themselves so they can feel the benefits that I have too. So we use a blend of both, what I've learned over the last 10 years, which is how to get people in amazing shape over a short space of time, but then also how to keep them in shape, but then give them a deadline and give them what they need so that they never need us. They don't need another coach again, because you shouldn't need someone for such a long period of time to give these simple skills.
What type of clients do you work with at Autonomy?
So with Autonomy, we work with a vast array, but majority of our clientele are from Indian that live in the UK, mostly Birmingham or London. And then we work with some coaches alongside that who want to come in and learn how we do things and do like photo shoots and stuff like that. But majority of people they want to lose 5 to 10 kilos, but they want to keep it off for life. And, for some of those, that will involve managing traditional Indian food and managing the cultural dynamics that go with that.
What would a white boy from Runcorn know about managing cultural dynamics of the Indian culture?
It's been trial and error, and it starts with liking the food and enjoying it, and then taking a vast interest. I've probably been to India more times than lots of Indians from London, and Kenya as well, and really taking an interest in solving cultural dynamics as well as food. We know that they can't be mutually exclusive. You can't just work on your nutrition and not have to deal with the culture. So I fell into it, but I love it, and I love solving the problems that are presented. And we are the token white boys of the industry when it comes to this niche, and we fucking love that we are.
So what is the most common problem that people will come to you with when it comes to this specific niche or clients?
So there's loads of multifactorial problems, but the biggest thing is dealing with parents and dealing with the cultural dynamics of the expectations of others are placed upon them. So whether it's, they're used to having the dal, roti and rice and then having other things afterwards, and being expected to have those things, and it being quite a disrespectful thing for them to not have those. We have to deal with those more than anything else, because they love the food, they love that, but they don't feel that they can eat that within a diet because they've never truly understood what it is to balance the two. And that's the biggest part, is when you show them that they can balance the rotis, the rices, the khichdi, all those things, the chevro, you can have those, but we'll show you how to do it. And then people get free because they thought they were mutually exclusive from each other, but they're actually collaborative.
What client are you most proud of?
Myself. I think all clients have their own journeys and their own stories, and they all get affected in certain ways. And they all change in mindset, in their physical status, what they do in the next years, how they mold their kids, how they mold their grandchildren, because of what they're doing with Autonomy. But for me, I'm most proud of myself, because those things would have never came, or I wouldn't have had the passion to do that, or the learnings that came and people are learning from, if I wouldn't have tried to master myself.
What would make someone a good fit to work with you at Autonomy?
I think the only requirement for Autonomy is you buy into the fact that the 6 phases are the way that they forever, the 6 phases are forever, and that you apply effort to those things too. So being able to go through a diet, but also know that there's things afterwards that you have to do. You have to learn the skills of maintenance. You have to learn how to do it by yourself. But you can't do that just by going through a diet. So they have to really master the fact that they're going to go through these 6 phases. They're going to go through the trials and tribulations of dieting, of maintaining, and then when you step out on your own, what it's like from a psychological perspective to be on your own 2 feet and the standards that you have to hold for yourself.
What are Autonomy 6 phases?
The 6 phases are setting a tangible goal. They are using a framework. It is trial and improvement, reaching your physical goal, practicing the long-term solution, and then leaving with autonomy. If you hit all of those, you'll have mastered a diet in the most effective way. You'll have mastered maintenance in the most effective way. In the process of that, you'll have reached your physical goal that you had, and then you'll be leaving Autonomy with autonomy.
Why do you kick clients out of your coaching service?
We kick clients out because we know that the last step, the one without the coach, the one that makes them stand on their own 2 feet, is the most valuable. If you are reliant on someone else and you are accountable to someone else, for the longer term, it can have a backward step because you're not truly holding standards for yourself. You're not truly understanding what you need and when to say no and when to say yes. And if you're relying on someone else to tell you what's right and what's wrong and what's yes and what's no, you don't truly gain your own responsibility, your own control. And we have to step away to make that happen.
What is someone guaranteed if they sign up with Autonomy?
They're guaranteed to get results. They get a period where they can join, or and if they don't love it, they can leave. They get a guarantee that over a 90-day period they will lose 10% of their body weight if they do what we say. And the biggest guarantee, which we're most proud of, which we've never had to fulfill, is that when people leave Autonomy with Autonomy, in that year after they leave, when they're not working with us, if they regain their weight back, we'll pay for the whole coaching that they paid for, because we're so confident that no one will, if they utilize everything that we've said, will go backwards with their goals. Thank you and good night. Much love.